I'm at the point now where I would turn into a PC gamer if they port games like God of War 2018 over to PC.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
And just when I thought Nintendo soy boys were the whiniest, most entitled man-children in all of gaming, the Sony ponies managed to once again dethrone them. Until the next Nintendo Direct anyway. I'm 25. Just look at where a life of indulgence brought me, mentally torturing myself by responding to corporate simps, just so I can get a few bags of weed on the table. Fuck it. Shameless Patreon plugin. Want to see more of this consistent upload rate? Then invest in this stick and regret it later, just like a console purchase. So this asswipe here is Drake Salfinio, a proudly open PlayStation fanboy. How weird is that shit? Back in my day, if you were the fanboy, you'd get mocked and excluded from conversations. Nowadays, it's cool and popular to be this out there about it. Am I starting to go full boomer already? I mean, how could you look at this channel art and not say to yourself, yeah, this is clearly a fanboy? Okay, well, I'm just going to do my best to avoid the ad hominems and whatnot, but these days it seems fanboy no longer carries a negative connotation to it. Hell, almost half his audience is openly salty about PlayStation games coming to PC in his own poll. So obviously that's why we are here, my children. Daddy has to spank the shit out of this dumbass so he learns. It hurts me more than it hurts you. In order to keep my good health going, I will avoid an entire pause and play response, and only focus on what matters. The mic quality here is AIDS, the voice dries up pussies, and the attitude needs some adjusting. I want to go over his main points that are already trash enough as it is. Why do I want to hurt my own beautiful audience anyway?
Sony says more PlayStation games are coming to PC starting with Days Gone. It will arrive on PC this spring. PC port Beggars got a big W now, and PlayStation fans.
So ignoring his stupid ass intro and skipping his painfully slow and unbearable reading of the article, Mr.
Drake here
gives us his thoughts on PlayStation titles coming to PC.
So what do I think about all of this? Well, to be quite honest, I hate it.
I hate him!
If you are not familiar with that movie, then we can't fuck. Imagine that, a PlayStation fanboy hating the idea of other people being able to play something they can because they don't conform to their batshit crazy fanboy echo chamber. Is anyone even surprised at this point? The internet brought fanboys together and helped us to identify a stereotype. It's like when the internet discovered bronies.
Putting PlayStation games on PC is a terrible move, period, because Sony's main argument in the console war revolves around quality exclusive titles. Why buy PlayStation when the games are on PC? Wasn't that the argument for not buying Xbox in the first place?
Well, first off, the fact you think Sony is participating in a console war to begin with is worrisome. We may have to get you checked into the same mental asylum the amazing doofus is in. Fanboys are never consistent. One minute they tell people that consoles are better because they are accessible and cheap and provide ease of use. The next they're telling you, what's the point of a console if it has no exclusives?
I see Xbox guys and PC port beggars being up in arms about this.
I was going to correct you, but yeah, PC part beggars, yeah, that kind of works too.
Saying that Sony is a company and they want to make money, saying that Sony doesn't care about us, saying that they will go the Xbox route, saying that this is the future of gaming, saying that they're only porting some games that are a couple years old. But to be quite frank here, I still don't like this.
And it's reasons like this I hate the pause and play format. Stutters like that and a caveman-like thought process just make the original videos look so bad on their own, and robs the person of the ability to show their true intellect. Perhaps I could have said it in a nicer way.
Because it takes away a reason, or the reason, to go with the
Today, Junior?
To go with the PlayStation brand. Why should the market leader adopt strategies from Xbox, a company that is dead last, trailing far behind Nintendo? Sony is chasing after pennies here, while making serious dollars.
So your reason for hating this is because the leader in the market shouldn't be chasing pennies in the massive PC gaming market known to draw in even more revenue than the console market? There's a lot wrong here. Sony adopting more of Microsoft's strategies is to effectively take away even more reasons for getting an Xbox. You see, corporations don't just stop wanting more and more money. I thought such common logic would be applied here, but you seem to believe Sony would be happy with the billions they have now. No, the fact that you consider 90 million Xbox users pennies is laughable and shows how little you actually know about the market.
I don't understand this, and some might say that they only want to entice PC gamers to come over to the PlayStation camp. But if the PC guys were so interested in Days Gone and all of these other games, they would already have gotten that game on PlayStation. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yet again showing how little you know about gaming outside of the PlayStation bubble you've been trapped in for so long. It's a good way to stunt your development, but hey, maybe if you watch this video, you'll learn something. PC gamers are some patient ass motherfuckers, son. The library here be as thick as Chun-Li. When a game we want to play is on console, we shrug it off and do what you say. Buy console, and then double dip on the PC version, or just wait for the inevitable emulator or PC port, because these companies would rather make money than see their games emulated. You couldn't chain these thoughts together and come to a simple conclusion? You're out here barely discovering gaming as it is. Let me tell you the secret as to why the PC keeps catching so many dubs. It's because we're too big of a market to ignore anymore.
That whole economic argument is also scary to me. This shows that PlayStation also intends on putting other games like newer PlayStation 5 titles on newer, other hardware. Who knows where they are putting it? At least PC, I don't like that.
Scary? Are you fucking for real right now? PlayStation fanboys are insanely sheltered and pampered little boys. Well, the very article you read should have eased your tensions because Jim Ryan himself said there was no backlash from the PlayStation community. So why don't you calm down and keep playing the games the way you do, because nothing is really going to change your experience. Unless your experience is that of jerking off other PlayStation fanboys, because that would probably come to an end.
Sony is making so much money with PlayStation at the moment, why would they change this running system?
Because they're a billion-dollar corporation who has no incentive to stop making more money? Do you think they want to stop making more money for you? Are you stupid?
This is a situation we have never seen before as PlayStation fans.
Really? So you've never seen Sony console exclusives come to PC in the last 5 years?
I'm at the point now where I would turn into a PC gamer if they port games like God of War 2018 over to PC. Because at that point, what's even the reason to go with PlayStation or console gaming in general? It makes no sense whatsoever.
For the love of God, stay where you are. The gates are closed. Ever since I heard PlayStation fanboys say this, I've been laughing my ass off nonstop. All I heard them say when the PlayStation was dry was, consoles offer a much more seamless and hassle-free experience. Nobody cares about frame rates and mods or graphics. Consoles are the best way to play. Whatever happened to those guys? They seemed to be perfectly happy with their consoles until they hear some of the exclusives are going to PC. Then they want to come here? How does that work? If you had an enjoyable and fun experience before, then why would that suddenly change? The only explanation could be that consoles really do suck and they know it, or, well, no, yeah, that's probably why.
Look at Nintendo. Nintendo is doing great at the moment. The Switch is selling at record numbers, even outselling the PlayStation 5 and other Xbox consoles whatsoever. I mean, Nintendo is doing it the right way. Their whole business revolves around exclusive games and their characters. Look how the Mario 3D All-Stars collection sold. Look how Nintendo fanboys are hyped for ports of like 10-year-old games because they are not available on systems that are non-Nintendo. The whole point of Nintendo would be It would be basically destroyed or devalued when you take away these exclusives and these characters.
You also seem to forget that the Switch is seen more as a companion device than a main platform. Multi-plat support on it leads to people having another main system for gaming, and its functionality is something you can't even get out of all the other platforms. Its best support is its exclusive content for this very reason as well. The attachment rates and sales blow even PlayStation exclusives out of the water because, well, let's face it, that's all there really is to buy there. Currently, Yuzu, if that's how it's pronounced, I think, is one of the most functional and best ways to emulate Switch games at an even higher fidelity and frame rate than the original versions. The emulator is insanely popular too, but have you seen that hurt the Switch? Have you seen PS5 sales drop because of PlayStation games going to PC? No, you haven't, because the hardware will sell due to popularity and preference alone. This shit hasn't even created a dent on PlayStation's momentum right now.
I couldn't get a PlayStation 5 because I wasn't able to find it anywhere. Now I'm thinking about building a really high-level gaming rig, build a big game collection based on Steam sales. Steam isn't censoring games. All games get ported to PC. You can get Game Pass on PC. I would just continue collecting games on the Nintendo systems and migrate over to PC as my main dish. This is a scary thing to think about.
Believe me, it's scary for me too. The thought alone almost made me shit my stick. But I don't understand your logic here. You already know about all the good shit on PC all along, and you still stayed on PlayStation as your main platform and continued to simp for them. You willingly denied yourself PC gaming for something as arbitrary as exclusives? Not only do I now want to close the gates of PC gaming upon you, but I kind of want my archers to hit you now.
Since the PC community is completely toxic to the max, but you kind of have to consider these things at these times of Jim Ryan at the top.
You mean the PC gaming community isn't toxic enough for you, because they don't form social clubs around something as stupid as exclusive content. So you can't relate to them, they're too intelligent for you, and they probably don't even like you.
PlayStation games should be true first-party exclusives and not just timed exclusives. They should be on PlayStation and not any other platform, not on PC, nowhere else, for at least 5 to 10 years. That's how I think about it.
So you already know how much better your experience could be elsewhere, and you still want this bullshit barrier that keeps it from happening? Okay.
Many of the ported games like Horizon Zero Dawn and Days Gone are barely over 2 years old, and PlayStation is also starting to drop that only on PlayStation label on their games. It seems like, in the early stages, that Microsoft is winning this generation in terms of ideology. What PlayStation is doing here is a suicide decision, but money talks louder, I guess.
Money indeed does talk. That's why Sony has investors, market experts, and hundreds of people in business with experience that walk them through these decisions versus some kid with a blue snowball mic and awful Far Cry 3 footage telling them it's suicide.
They are slowly killing the only single reason to buy a PlayStation. I'm just hoping that they will not hand over these big guns, these games like God of War, Spider-Man, Uncharted 4, or the Nathan Drake collection, The Last of Us 2, Bloodborne, all of these games over to PC. I'm really scared about this because I think that only PlayStation owners deserve to play these games because these games have been developed by PlayStation. This is the soul, the heart and soul of PlayStation. So you can't just give away games like this. And I have seen when it comes to Bloodborne, when it comes to God of War, when it comes to Spider-Man, many PC guys begging for these games, many petitions about these games. This is something that pops up on a regular basis.
Oh god, seeing PlayStation fanboys on their knees begging for games not to be sold elsewhere is making me want to puke more than that time I ate 4 grams of shrooms. What is it with these guys and Deserve? Deserve has nothing to do with how Sony sells anything. This isn't fucking Santa Claus. It's a corporation looking to rake in money for whoever wants to buy their products. Tiny petitions with a max amount of 50k is a tiny ass number with a user base of over 1 billion. The games sell for greater numbers than those tiny petitions. See, that's the thing about Sony ponies. They always claim to be in Sony's self-interest. They always want to make sure the company is doing good, so they continue to produce these products that they love buying. It makes sense at first, until Sony says they want to make even more money, and the PlayStation fanboys say, no, you can't make more money elsewhere.
The PC community is obviously happy about everything that's going on right now.
Well, it's a copium like this right here that makes us happy more so than the game's coming.
They have been port begging for years. I've been laughing about their petitions in my videos and all of that stuff.
And if port begging leads to you crying more, and me loading up my buckets with more salt, then PC gamers should gladly continue to make those petitions.
But it just shows that they were right, maybe waiting for PlayStation games to come over to their platform.
Look, PC guys being correct for the 1000th time isn't new. What would be new is if PlayStation fanboys could man the fuck up and move on from this man-child mentality.
These are the kinds of guys, these PC guys, they would never buy a PlayStation, but they would for sure get the games on a Steam sale for cheap, or pirated for free. That's what they are all about.
When are you guys gonna get it through your heads? Nothing you say or do will ever make me admit you're cool.
I just realized something. We don't care what you think. They don't care what other people think.
Imagine trying to make that sound like a bad thing. Oh no, PC gamers have freedom to do whatever the fuck they want.
The gaming industry grew so big in these recent years. It's the most important form of entertainment these days. There's massive revenue and Sony's consoles are flying off the shelves. They're getting a cut of these third-party games and DLC. They are starting to get greedy now, I think. And that's why they are facing this whole backlash.
Backlash? Where? Sony themselves said they didn't see anyone else bitch the way you are about this, and that's why they decided to continue doing it. Did you not read the article? How funny is it that the only time PlayStation fanboys will ever call Sony greedy is when they do the least greedy thing they can?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of any of this. I want to keep these games to myself or to the PlayStation community and not to these other communities. Why should PlayStation cater to all of these other communities? I think they should cater to the PlayStation community.
Let's just end this mess you call a video right here. You're clearly an underdeveloped man-child to have this sort of attitude and mentality. There's no logic whatsoever applied to your reasoning, but then again, I never expect that out of a fanboy. Grown men not wanting to share toys. Actually, no. Even a child not wanting to share a toy makes more sense, because it's their own and they could lose it or have it broken by sharing. Right here is a group of grown men who don't want people to buy what they can buy somewhere else. It's even more ridiculous, and I'm losing brain cells trying to reason with it. Honestly, I want more PlayStation exclusives here because I want to see if these fanboys actually practice what they preach and ditch PlayStation consoles. I want to see if it's just man-children crying and making empty threats, or if they really are that childish and leave because they can't participate in some toxic fanboy wars anymore, and will then try to be new PC Master Race members that make the community worse. Who knows? I lost track of time. I should put down this blunt and get the next video ready, and I'll see you bitches there.
Fritanga sucks ass.